Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Quick question. Just before we start, anyway, Lutfar was meant to be doing today's circle, but we all know that his father's not well, he's in hospital, he's in a critical condition. Do dua for him. So I just step in and prepare something quickly. Yeah. Also, I prepared, spent most of today trying to make a nice PowerPoint presentation, but we don't have a projector. So I had a few points on there, a few pictures which can highlight and help illustrate the discussion today. Just before we start, I just want to know how well we know certain people and certain individuals, yeah? So, how well, if I mention certain names, yeah? How many people of you, if you know that person, put your hand up. If you don't, just leave it down, yeah? Who knows Beckham? David Beckham? Yeah? Some brothers don't, yeah? Oh, I'm too shy to put the hand up. Who knows Lampard? Who knows Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't know him, I've heard of him.
Yeah, you don't know. Meaning, know about him, yeah? So, who knows Noor? Quite a few brothers, yeah? And who's heard of Sa'id ibn Amr al-Jumahi before today? Only one or two brothers. So, you know, the thing is that we know quite a lot of people, and we know a lot of personalities, and we know a lot of actors and people who are always in front of us, and we know about their life, we know about their history, we know everything about what they've done, what they've, how they became what they are, yeah? But the most important personalities who are those who are in our history, within our tradition of Islam, are our sahaba radiallahu anhum, yeah? And when we look at how many people know about the sahaba, yeah? We know the main personalities of the sahaba, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali and others, yeah? But there's those sahaba who are famous and they were very close to the Prophet ﷺ as well, but we don't know them as well, yeah? Or we don't know much about them, or we might have heard something about them once before when we were younger, or in a talk once, yeah? So it shows you that how important, like Bilal says, you know, how important it is for us to know about the Sahaba, radiallahu anhum, yeah? Because the Sahaba are a source of guidance for us as well. When the Prophet ﷺ said that if you follow any Sahaba, yeah, they're like guiding stars. If you follow any of them, you'll be guided, yeah? And we know they are the ones who struggled for this deen initially. Yeah, they're the ones who put Islam on the map, and they're the ones who, because of them, we are Muslim today. Because of them, we are people who are of Iman today. Yeah. So if it wasn't for the Sahaba, we would not be Muslim today. We would have been, as our ancestors were, maybe Hindus or fire worshippers or what have you. Yeah. So we need to know who the Sahaba are. And that's why we've got this series about the forgotten heroes, touching upon some of the ones who have been forgotten or are not that prominent, yeah? So when we talk about Sa'id ibn Aamir, yeah, there's not much. You can do your own research, get a book on the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet, men around the Messenger, go on the internet. There's a website, it's called sahaba.net, sahaba.com. And there's some Sahaba you won't find much information about them, yeah? But whatever information you do find about them, it's quite profound, and it has a big impact when you read about them and in terms of what lessons we can derive from them, yeah? So I'm going to just go narrate his story, what lessons we can take from that, and then comparing it to today's reality, to today's leaders and to today's political personalities, yeah? Sa'id ibn Amr, before embracing Islam, he witnessed something quite a big event that happened in his life, yeah? And this event kind of created the man who he is today, or the man who he was. We know that the Sahabi Khubayb ibn Adi, he was captured by the Quraysh. Yeah, the Quraysh captured him, and because of the Battle of Badr and how in the Battle of Badr many Qurayshi personalities were killed and they were passed away. Yeah, so the Quraysh were bent on revenge. Yeah, they were bent on revenge, getting some kind of revenge because good number of their personalities were taken out. Yeah, so we know Abu Jahl was killed and others personalities from Quraysh, yeah, from the Mushrikeen. So when they caught these Muslims, some of the Sahaba, they thought, look, we're going to make an example out of this Sahabi, yeah, Khubayb ibn Adi, and we're going to teach them a lesson that the Muslims back in Medina are going to think twice, and they're going to know that we are not going to leave the death of our personalities alone, leave it alone, yeah. So when they caught him, they dragged him in the streets of Makkah, and they dragged him and they were going to crucify him, yeah, on a wooden cross. And as they were dragging him, there was thousands of people there, and many tribes came as well. The Quraysh invited many tribes to witness this, so they can witness the revenge that they're going to take on the Muslims. And what happened was, Sa'id ibn Aamir, he was brought along as well. He was a young boy then, he was a teenager at the time. And he was brought along as well, and he kind of got in that crowd as well. And he moved his way to the front of that crowd. And then his eyes set on Khubayb. And what happened was, when he looked at Khubayb and he saw the crowds, the women, the children, the people were throwing things at him, shouting and saying, kill him and what have you, yeah? He saw that when Khubayb made a request, he goes, look, before you kill me, can I pay 2 rakah, nafil, yeah? So they allowed him to pray the 2 rakah. So he prayed in a very tranquil, content manner. He was very calm, very tranquil, and he finished his salah. And Khubayb said to the Quraysh, look, if it wasn't that you think I'm praying out of fear, I would maybe prolong the prayer and what have you. Yeah? I'm not praying out of fear, it's praying my last prayer before I meet my Lord. And then they put him up on the cross and they started to put their swords on him, cut him up bit by bit. Yeah? They never just killed him, they cut him up bit by bit. Yeah? So they mutilated him, his legs, his arms, put spears into him, swords into him, so much that Sa'id later in his life he narrates this and it has a big impact on him as well. Yeah? And Khubayb goes, look, he did a dua, oh Allah, count every one of them. Yeah? Count every one of them, take revenge on every one of them. And count every one of them for what they're doing. Yeah? And before he died, they asked him, look, wouldn't you rather have the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in your place rather than you today? Look what position you are, in a pathetic position. We're killing you, cutting you up bit by bit. You know? And wouldn't you want the Prophet ﷺ to be there in your place instead? He goes, I would not rather be at home with my family, comfortable, even if a prick was to touch the Prophet ﷺ, I would sacrifice my life, yeah, for even a small prick to touch the Prophet ﷺ. And then we know he died shaheed and he passed away, yeah. And that had an impact on Sa'id ibn Amir. So later on in life, I think it wasn't that later on, but he went home, and the days after, yeah, the months after, he was having dreams. He could remember that very clearly, how content Khubayb was, how peaceful he was, and that moment he said, oh Allah, count every one of them. That's when he woke up, because he got scared that, look, something might happen to me, because he was within that crowd as well. Yeah? And that made him closer to Islam, that softened his heart. Yeah? And his heart to the message of Islam. So he embraced Islam, and he went to the Quraysh and told them, look, I'm embracing Islam, I've rejected your way of life, I've rejected your belief, and I'm going back, I'm going to go and do hijrah to Medina. So he went to Medina, and he went there, and he went to the Prophet ﷺ, embraced Islam in front of the Prophet ﷺ, and he lived and he participated in many battles with the Prophet ﷺ. He was under Abu Bakr after the Prophet ﷺ passed away. He was under Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, he was under Umar radiallahu anh as well. Yeah. And under the life, when he was under Umar